Texas A&M is in black. Oklahoma State wearing orange. It's Halloween colors about 9 days too late, but we're going to enjoy it anyway on this Sunday in Stillwater. And it's the Aggies that have the game's first possession. Griffin, three out front. It's off the front rim short. Able to get his own long rebound off a bounce. AG defended. Gets the ball back. He's going to shoot a three. Punched out, and already inside the first 30 seconds, we've seen 2 3-point attempts from the Aggies, and now a whistle as Miller took some contact and is shaken up.
And I know Steve Lutz is not happy about this start in the first 30 seconds. 2 offensive rebounds on long 3-point shot attempts. That's one thing I asked him in shoot around. How will you handle A&M shooting all these threes? Long shots equals long rebounds, Mark. He said, this is what we practice. We practiced it for 2 to 3 days. So far, it's not looked like it.
So Miller came out. They bring in Isaiah Coleman, who did not play the other night. Isaac's a three, and the third attempt from three-ball land goes down for the Aggies on their first possession.
And that's what you don't want. Papa Isaac didn't score the ball in their first few games. Didn't score the ball well in the first few games. But if he can get hot, you can be in for a very long night.
First possession for the Cowboys. They look to trap Clary. Now a three left side. That's a little bit long from Coleman, Isaiah Coleman. An offensive rebound there by Jennings, trying to feed down low. Fowler kicks it to the baseline, and from this side it's knocked down by Isaiah Coleman. Missed one from the left, goes to the right, and cuts it down to 1. AG doesn't do the handoff to Griffin. Back cut. Lane saying it was deflected. But our officiating crew says it's Oklahoma State ball.
Take a look at this right here. This will be key. How Fowler handles the double team down low. How he can pass out of that will lead to open shots, because A&M, knowing that they're a smaller team, they will always send the double on Fowler because he is that good of a post scorer. Good job right there to deliver it.
Kanye Clary will bring it up for Oklahoma State. That guard combo of Jalen Curry, Kanye Clary. Splits a couple of defenders. Open three, Jennings. Well off the left side. Rebound chased down though by Parsifala. Takes some contact from Federico.
Yeah, both teams early on struggling on the defensive rebounding side. We saw 2 earlier for A&M, and the past 2 possessions, we've seen 2 offensive rebounds that Oklahoma State got as well.
Bucky McMillan's team 1 for 3 to start the game, all 3-point attempts. Oklahoma State off to a 1 for 3 start, and 2 of those misses, both were threes. Just about 2 minutes in. Curry kicked off the left side, another long rebound, Isaiah Coleman. Coleman from just inside the free throw line swishes it and gives the Pokes their first lead.
And that's what he does so well. He's not really a 3-point shooter, but when you look at his mid-range game, or his ability to attack off the dribble to get to the rim, that's where he excels.
Isaacs uses the screen from Federico. Long three, that's short. Force that one over the top of Clary, and it's out of bounds to Oklahoma State.
And the one thing that Pop Isaacs has struggled with throughout his whole career is efficiency. He has to take the right ones. That one right there, Mark, not a good attempt, and I know Bucky McMillan is not living with that shot.
We see the pressure full court here, especially from Isaacs up the floor. We mentioned how both these teams want to get up and down, but for Texas A&M, King, they're really the one that likes to get up and down offensively and defensively.
Well, right now, I feel like they haven't really put that pressure, that run and jump style. So far, oh my goodness.
Coleman and a block from the backside. AG came crashing in to keep that from getting to the rim. Kari Lane, the point guard. Transfer from North Alabama. Isaacs passes up the 3 this time. AG will take it from the corner. And Federico his foul, going after the rebound. That's it.
Let's go back to this block right here. AG doing what he's supposed to do. The guard matched up, really didn't have that level of rim protection. AG comes from behind, cleans up the block. That's what we talk about, doing the small things to help your team win. That's what AG does. He doesn't have to score, but he contributes in other ways to produce winning.
Your king of the court, who spent last year at USC, a couple of years before that at Bowling Green State, and in the practice and the shoot-around today, you could tell he is already a vocal leader on this A&M team.
Hey, you heard him the whole shoot-around. No matter what drill it was, you always heard his voice. He definitely stood out when it came to talking and communication.
Ryland Griffin trying to get downhill. Foul there, kicked out. AG. An open look for Lane. The three is long. Tipped along the baseline and grabbed by Oklahoma State. Kanye Clary. Christian Coleman in the game, lost the dribble. The UAB transfer, Christian Coleman. Foul is pass deflected. It somehow found Coleman. That gets blocked by Federico. Great low post defense there by the Aggies. High pass from AG as Griffin had to sky for it. He came down out of bounds. And an A&M turnover.
Right there, he was wide open. AG saw it, but that's a long pass to be able to make. Really hard pass because of the distance. Ryland Griffin almost secured it, but AG has to throw a cleaner pass than that because Ryland Griffin was wide open.
Lane and Isaacs come out. See Marcus Hill check in for the Aggies.
And this is where A&M's defense starts going to the next level. When you have Hill and you have Holloway inserted into the game. Both of these young men are like pit bulls. They do a really good job climbing up in you and speeding you up. This is where their defense goes to the next level.
You mentioned #1, Josh Holloway, who's the one player from Sanford that Bucky McMillan brought with him. Five to shoot. Clary, the lefty, puts it up and knocks down the three over Griffin. 7-0 run for the Cowboys after Texas A&M picked up a three on their first possession of the game. Bodies on the floor. A&M able to get a timeout. Holloway. And it's an A&M timeout. Especially if each of these teams missing a key player to injury. We'll get to in a little more detail later. That being Anthony Roy for Oklahoma State, Kinsey and Baco for Texas A&M. Both hoping to be back soon. Here's Hill out front with three to shoot. Puts it up from 16. And Vukovic now in the game. And for Oklahoma State, we had a foul coming over the back and a push.
Mark, you can tell in the first 4 and some change minutes of this game, Coach is really trying to get Ryland Griffin going. He just subs him out, but he left him in when they made the sub. They subbed 4 in, 3 in. But you can tell that they're really trying to get Ryland Griffin going. And if you look at this shooting right here, Texas A&M averages 31 threes per game in their first 2 games this year. And so far in this first 4 minutes and some change, they've already shot in 6, so they're definitely on pace and on schedule.
A&M's gone a little over 4 minutes now since that first bucket of the game for them. It's into AG. Another shooter, Ruben Dominguez, in the game for Texas A&M. And Oklahoma State put their freshman shooter in the game, and Ryan Crotty.
Dominguez didn't shoot it well last game, but you can tell when you talk to anybody on the A&M staff that this young man is an elite level shooter from beyond the arc.
Yeah, head coach Bucky McMillan says he's one of the best shooters he's ever seen. As you said, had an off game against Texas Southern. Shot it well in game 1 in their win over Northwestern State. Here's Zach Clements, Kansas transfer. Short with his three. AG battling for it with the freshman Crotty.
And that's going to be a really tough matchup right there for Vukovic. When he's going up against a veteran in AG, he has to make sure that every single possession when the ball goes up, he is turning around and blocking out. But that's young on old. That's a veteran going against the rook.
Now Vukovic Played a little bit, but not a lot last year for the native of Serbia. Got the big size, 6'11", 270. Played well in their win over Oral Roberts here. Down low, ball got stripped, knocked out of the hands of Marcus Hill, and the other way, Isaiah Coleman. Isaiah Coleman did not play in that game against ORU due to a disciplinary reason, but he's back here for game 2.
And you can tell that when Coleman is inserted into the game, his energy is infectious, not just offensively, but also defensively. He gets the steal, goes out in transition, and he's looking for one thing, Mark, looking to attack. Isaiah Coleman's energy is what Steve Lutz loves and what he needs.
Played his first 2 seasons at Seton Hall. Last year in his sophomore year, led Seton Hall in scoring, averaging over 15 a game, added 5 rebounds. You can certainly see why they think he's going to put up some numbers here in Stillwater.
Yeah, Lutz has done a tremendous job bringing in guys that fit the way that he wants to play.
We have the 9 Oklahoma State points, 7 points off of Aggie turnovers here early in the game. Dominguez picked up the dribble. Crotty on him. Dominguez. Marcus Hill gets in the lane. Dominguez gets an open look. In and out. Offensive rebound is put back by Clements. Ball gets loose. Crotty kind of screened Holloway from getting to it to make sure Oklahoma State kept possession. The Kansas transfer Clements. You got 2 guys who played for KU in the Big 12 last year, now for A&M, and Rylan Griffin and Zach Clements.
And Clements didn't get a lot of minutes when he was at KU, but he can play. He's been given an opportunity, and no doubt he will make the most of it.
Yeah, I battled a groin injury a lot of last year to Clements at Kansas. Only played in 8 games, as you referred to. Serious Benjukis, number 72 in the game for the first time, and down low. Unable to finish was Vukovic, but he is fouled.
And that was all set up right there by Curry being able to get rid of the basketball. Texas A&M, when Oklahoma State comes off the ball screen, Texas A&M sends 2. Whenever you send 2, if you get the ball swung and you get the ball, watch this right here. You get the ball swung, now you are playing advantage basketball and you put the defense in rotation. Crotty does a tremendous job driving the closeout. Now Vukovic has to finish that. That should have been an and one right there, Mark. But nonetheless, when you get rid of the basketball, when 2 are on you, good things happen.
Andrija Vukovic only played 47 total minutes last year. He was the lone freshman on the roster for Steve Lutz a year ago. At 20 total points. They like the progress he's made. They'd like to see him a little more aggressive down low.
And when Lutz said he's immovable when he wants to be, but key word is when he wants to be, because a lot of times Vukovic wants to be on the perimeter and be more of that Jokic role, shoot threes and be a lot more finesse. But Lutz wants him to be that physical imposer down low that he's shown flashes of at times.
Steve Lutz swaps out his bigs, brings Falla back in for Vukovic. There's a drive by Holloway. It's deflected, but to Dominguez. Clements trying to get down the left side of the lane. Lost it, but does get fouled. Oklahoma State foul. Pat Adams making the call there on the baseline. Really good officiating crew, by the way, today here. And Kip Kissinger, Pat Adams, Marcus Pettigrew.
Let's take a look at this right here. Good drive. Clements initiates the contact.
Yeah.
I see why the referee called it.
And why was that? Because I'd like to know. That ball was just kind of bouncing around between the two of them.
But typically when you initiate the contact as an offensive guy, it's hard for the referee, especially with the angle that they're at, to be able to determine who really initiated it. So from his point of view, it seemed as if the defender might have bumped him or fouled him.
Now Curry's trying to tell Kip Kissinger that inbounds throw there from Holloway went last off Holloway. Federico, Clements, Dominguez. Hill on the floor, and the lefty Hill fires and scores. Marcus Hill, the grad transfer.
And that's not what he's known for. He's never shot over 30% in his career from behind the arc. Oh my goodness.
Oh. Coleman getting up and crashing to the floor. I tell you what, Isaiah Coleman, first time Cowboy fans are seeing him. He's made an immediate impact in this game.
This miss looks so good. Oh my goodness.
Just couldn't quite finish that off.
Oh, that's how you go attack the rim. Charge.
Now the other way. There to take a charge is Curry.
And that's just good one-on-one defense, not relying on your help. Stay in front of the ball. You know Texas A&M's guards are going to look to attack and put pressure. Curry beats him to the spot, takes it in the chest. That's going the opposite way. Good one-on-one defense right there by Curry.
Fourth Aggies turnover here in the first half. The pressure put on a little more harshly here by the Aggies, but up the floor, just barely Curry able to contain it. Dangerous pass. Federico all over Fala. Help defense from Holloway, and he's going to get the reach-in foul. Arts of Fala, transfer from Oregon State from Iran. And Steve Lutz hopes will be a big post presence for him this year. I'll tell you what, there's some emotion in this SEC Big 12 matchup on a Sunday afternoon.
If you look at this lineup, look at the way that Texas A&M is lined up right now. They're lined up in a 1-3-1, which automatically makes you punt and not allow you to run any of your underneath out of bounds plays.
And Jukas kick to the corner. Crotty, that's what he's here for. The freshman knocks down a three from the corner.
And that's something he didn't do in the first game, but you know that he is plenty capable.
Crowdy's second made three of his brief freshman season for Oklahoma State. Went 1 for 5 against ORU from beyond the arc. 7 to shoot. Federico looking. Dominguez has to fire it up. Did hit rim, but it caroms out. And how about Oklahoma State's defense? Aggies couldn't get a clean look. Mandzukic got a clean look, but misses it. Crotty might have got away with a push, but it's out of bounds and going to A&M. Well, after discussion, they're going to say no, Oklahoma State ball. We've seen a lot going on here, King, in not even 8 minutes of basketball.
We're in for a treat. I mean, so far, Oklahoma State has done a tremendous job of beating A&M at what they do best. Playing fast, being able to push the tempo. Oklahoma State has done a tremendous job of responding to this. Once again, look at this 1-3-1 alignment. This forces Oklahoma State to throw the ball long because they cannot get into any of their sets.
Terrius Mandzukic, number 72, didn't play the game against ORU earlier in the week due to personal reasons. He does the fake, long two, got it. He is from Greece. They call him lefty, but he's not a lefty shooter, as you just saw there. A 7-point lead, lob, Fetty can't get it to roll in. Able to get it back off the carom. Second try, no. Clements, third try, fourth. And finally a foul rebound after 4 shots at it from down close for the Aggies. Splitting the defenders, Clary couldn't finish with that left hand. Pop pushes, Marcus Hill got it off the glass.
Transition is the name of the game. I think whoever wins this transition battle, whoever can score the most in transition will win this game, Mark.
King, if anybody saw us at the top of the show saying this was going to be an up and down game, had any question what it was going to be like, we have answered that. Texas A&M, we really saw their transition game click into speed quickly.
Yeah, this is what I mean by transition. How fast can you turn a missed bucket into an offensive bucket on the opposite side? And you see Pop Isaacs getting it up, and Hill, his ability to be able to draw contact, seek it out, get Fowler in the air. Fowler does a great job of not fouling. But the guards of A&M play through contact. They play off 2 feet, and they seek out the contact every single time they drive. But Pop Isaacs gets the ball up, and that's how they want to play. That's how Bucky wants to play. That's Bucky ball right there. Perfect example.
Yeah, A&M down 5. They have 9 offensive rebounds already in this game, but only 10 total points. Mandzukic. And out of the timeout, Oklahoma State quickly up the floor for the easy lay-in.
And that was all set up by the screen, the post up right there by Fowler to allow Mandzukic to be able to get an easy layup to the rim.
7-point lead for the Pokes is their largest of the day. Hill fighting Coleman. AG hands off. Isaacs trying to get downhill. Pop floater. Might have been partially deflected, did not make it to the rim. This is Isaiah Coleman. Isaacs over the top of the screen from Fowler. Jalen Curry lost the handle, rolled into the corner, right into the hands of Victorious Miller. He's going to have to do something, but gets off the baseline and turns it over.
A little too much dribbling in that possession. Get the ball swung, force the defense to be able to rotate like we saw earlier with Crotty, but right there, too much one-on-one, a little bit too much over dribbling.
That was the first Oklahoma State turnover of the game, so it comes just about midway through the first half. Aggies have turned it over 4 times so far. AG. Griffin kicks out with 8 to shoot. A little bit of contact that he got from Mandzukic and fired it up as a result after he realized he was going to get the foul call.
And Mark, that right there is just a veteran play. Pop Isaacs realizes that Mandzukic's hand is out. So what does he do? He goes straight through the arm and gets the foul to end up on the free throw line for 3 shots. That's just such a veteran play right there.
Well, the 3rd annual Women's Basketball Ally tip-off this afternoon, once again at the Spectrum Center in Charlotte. They've had a record attendance. Jazzy Davidson, number 18 USC, taking on number 9 North Carolina State. Coming up shortly, 3 Eastern, noon Pacific on ESPN, as well as the all-new ESPN app.
And we talk a lot about Jazzy Davidson, but London Jones is going to have to step up like she played in the first game. She's going to have to step up. They want to beat NC State.
Isaacs, it's that last free throw. Cutting what was a 7-point deficit down to 4. I think both teams finally starting to catch their breath here after a frantic beginning, King.
Now A&M, we see them going zone. Not really getting the stops that they want in man, so they try to switch it up, give Oklahoma State a different look.
Coleman, ball fake, got Dominguez in the air, adjusts, and knocks down the 3. Tell you what, Isaiah Coleman's been the story here early for Oklahoma State.
He's out there balling right now, Mike.
Griffin in a crowd. Short pass for AG, trying to spin around Fowler. Goes to that right hand. Nicely done, Rashawn AG, the grad transfer.
And I think one thing we're seeing right now with A&M is they're realizing that their pressure, their full court pressure, is not actually working or speeding up Oklahoma State as we see them picking them apart. So they're starting to back off, and they're not having that havoc or that chaos that we saw in the previous 2 games.
Quick ball movement, Griffin 3. Big rainbow swish for Ryland Griffin.
He has to get going, Mark, if they want any chance to win this game. Ryland Griffin has to get going offensively.
AG, block. Well, he is your king of the court. There's a 3. Isaacs rims out. A quick shot there from A&M. Curry on Griffin, got it to the rim, a miss, but Griffin yanks down the board. Here comes Pop. Isaacs kick, Dominguez 3. can't get that one to fall.
And A&M has gotten some good looks from behind the arc. They just haven't shot a great percentage from deep, but they're getting really good looks.
Yeah, they're 3 for 13 from beyond the arc to start this game, Texas A&M. Long 2. Not there for Jalen Curry. Mo Diba. Ali Diba brought it up the floor, loses it. And then Coleman is fouled in transition by Isaacs. Isaiah Coleman had another head of steam going the other way, and they probably did the smart thing and fouled him. Well, it was a 7-point lead for the Cowboys. It's now at 4 with 7.
However, he saw something different, and Kip is one of the best in our game, so leave it to him, and I can take the call.
But as you saw there with our game summary to this point, Isaiah Coleman, 9 points. He has been the big story in this game. To this point, open 3 right corner. No good, but guess who it is? It's Isaiah Coleman who cleans it up with the putback.
It's just the energy. Whether it be pushing in transition, whether it be on the defensive side, crashing the offensive glass, he's extremely versatile.
Griffin looking for his second 3. It was just a hair long, and now it's Isaiah Coleman rebounding. He's already at 11 points. 19 of Oklahoma State's 24 points have been scored by players off the bench for them today, and Coleman's a big reason. Coleman feeds Vukovic, whose pass is out of the double. Christian Coleman getting to the rim is fouled by Federico. Good ball movement there by Oklahoma State.
And this right here is what's so key. Being able to pass out of the double, and if you do not rotate down low, A&M, nobody drops. So this is wide open. This is what happens. You put your big into a bad spot. If you're A&M, Mark, you have to drop when the bigs go in double.
Christian Coleman hits the first. That, by the way, was 2 fouls. Federico. He stays in the game. And as I say that, he will come out. Jamie Vincent will take Federico's spot. So you got both Colemans on the floor for Oklahoma State. And it's Christian Coleman's free throws make it a 26-18 game. Griffin probing. What a play by Christian Coleman for the backside. Reverse! Jalen Curry! And Oklahoma State sparkling in transition. Hill, pass deflected, gets it back. Finds the open man. Clements 3, badly needed bucket for Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's a big time shot. They needed that from Clements right there. Let's go back. Because look at this block right here by Christian Coleman. Meets it before he gets to the rim fully. And this right here in transition, a little up and under. That's so pretty, Mark.
You know, Jalen Curry played at UMass last couple of seasons, and UMass was a team that liked to play fast as well.
Yeah. So it almost was a perfect match, and no doubt because of the style. You know, Lutz said he knows Frank Martin. Frank Martin loved the kid, so no doubt Lutz went to go get him, and he's been a perfect addition. And Lutz has honestly been extremely impressed with how he's been able to play and his confidence when the game started.
Jalen at the line here. Swishes the first. Both those guards, Curry and Clary, are both left-handed shooters. I don't see that a whole lot.
It's tough to guard. You know, typically a lot of coaches teach you contest with the left hand because almost 95% of players you play against will be right-handed. But when you're dealing with two guards who are under 6 feet, who are extremely fast, can blow by, it poses a challenge because not only do you have to worry about their speed and their quickness, but then you have to switch your contest. That's why scouting report is absolutely huge.
There's a third lefty shooter on the Oklahoma State roster, Anthony Roy, who's the transfer from Green Bay that has a groin injury, out of the lineup again today. That's a big piece that they're waiting to finally show the Cowboy fans.
And I love this substitution. Get AG back on the floor because, like we said earlier, he is the coach on the floor. When things start to get chaotic, he calms everybody down.
Crotty tripped up Griffin from behind, so the freshman will pick up the foul.
Oklahoma State. 24 Ryan Crotty is first. He fouled number 5.
Bucky McMillan's team beat Northwestern State 98-68, beat Texas Southern 101-70. So they came in averaging 101 points through the 2 games. And the pass, blind pass from Marcus Hill, and that's their 6th turnover.
But right there, Marcus Hill was right. He was telling AG to slide deep corner. If you slide deep corner, because as a guard, when you drive, that's where you expect them to be. But because he was a little bit higher, it wouldn't have been a clean angle to deliver that pass. AG should have slid deep corner.
And there's 14 new players for Texas A&M. I assume, King, that's something that middle of the season shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
Now it's Christian Coleman. It has been a Coleman parade for Oklahoma State. Clements couldn't answer with another 3. Oklahoma State leads by a dozen with under 5 to play in the first half. Christian Coleman right to the rim around Clements, and Bucky McMillan needs a timeout.
Your chaotic style is not working. When your frantic style is not working, you have to be efficient on the offensive side, and defensively you have to hone in and get stops.
Clements look for AG. Griffin. 4 to shoot. Clements. It's going to have to be a deep 3 from Pop. Isaacs kicks off the rim, and a rebound for Isaiah Coleman. Isaiah. Not that time. Just about everything else has gone right for him, though, in the first half.
Right now, if you're A&M, you have to find ways to get the ball in the paint. Whether that be off the drive, whether that be off the catch or the post-up, you have to find ways to get the ball to the paint. They have not been getting paint touches.
AG, 3, lines it up and knocks it down.
And that's just a great drive right there by Holloway. Force 2, spin out, get into the open man in AG.
Miller. Vukovic trying to back down Clements. Wide pass. Crotty tracks it down. Miller, 3. Air ball going out of bounds. Saved by Vukovic. It finds Coleman. Isaiah left it short. Isaacs. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay with A&M. We come to a timeout. Under 3 to play in this first half from Stillwater. Oklahoma State leading it by 11. The terror, the horror that he expressed to the Texas A&M team. I was a fly on the wall, and it was as emotional and impactful a speech as I have ever heard. Miller up and scores.
That's powerful, man. Absolutely powerful.
And you know Kyle Culler for a long time as well.
Yeah, he recruited me back when he was at A&M. Remarkable man.
Following the Cowboys, Jalen Curry, that's his first.
It's one of the incredible stories here with the matchup between these teams. has opened up to 13 with just over 2.5 minutes left. Isaacs. He's had a tough shooting first half. Isaiah Coleman's had the big first half. Somehow found Fowler. Isaiah Coleman do it all, scoring, and that's about as good a pass, an entry pass, as you'll see.
That's a dime right there, Mark. Oh.
And AG says I'm still here.
But that's what A&M has to do. They have to find ways to get to the rim and put pressure on the Oklahoma State defense. I mean, right now, the Oklahoma State defense has been so much better because they are suffocating you and not allowing you the angles to be able to get to the paint. They're relying on their help side.
Let's take another look. Oh, AG upset about that foul call. He wants to explain himself to Kip Kissinger.
Let's take a look at this right here. Oh. I mean, he makes a point. He had his arm right there, and Fowler almost, from what I saw, curled up and baited him into the foul. So AG upset about that, but Fowler just playing high-level, high IQ basketball right there.
Coming up tonight on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app, our next men's basketball matchup. Scott Drew and Baylor host 2-0 Washington. Great early season test for both squads. 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific at ABC. What can you tell me about your alma mater this year?
Yeah, everybody talks about Tunde Yesufu, and yes, he is phenomenal. But Cam Carr, remember that name, Mark, because I promise you, he will wake people up this year. He is a first-round draft pick.
Got Cam in the vault. Riley Griffin. AG up with it. An aggressive rebound by Christian Coleman. Up ahead, Jalen Curry. Fed Fowler, lost the handle. Now AG's in his face. And the Pokes will slow it back down to the half court. Coleman, Christian Coleman, off the mark with a three. And who touched that last? They're going to say off A&M. It's going to stay with Oklahoma State. Not a whole lot has gone right for A&M here in this first half.
And even though they missed on that last possession, the last offensive possession, I still think they did a good job of getting it to the paint. Those will fall, but that's what they have to continue to do. Right now, they're settling too much, and that's the style of play that they like to play. But what do you do when it is not working?
Curry just said, I'm going to the rim. Stop me if you can. A 15-5 run here for Oklahoma State closing out this first half. Oh, all alone. Josh Holloway just says, I'll take that entryway to the rim.
And I love the pace that Holloway plays with. He takes his time, does a good job of changing speeds, reads the defense, never sped up. He has to do more of that.
What a 6-second difference, shot clock, game clock, and Steve Lutz is going to.
Than what the coaches picked them to finish in that preseason poll. This will be a team that you do not want to reckon with moving forward.
So they can't eat up all, but a decent portion of the remaining game clock here, and with 6 on the shot clock. Curry ignites the offense and finds Coleman in the corner. They've got 5 seconds to get a shot off, and Karate thought he knocked it away off of Hill. It's going to be a foul. Stops the clock with 3 seconds left.
And not a great foul, because now that puts A&M into the 1-and-1 situation where they can get 2 shots. When if you would have just let them go by, you have to know time and score. If you would have just let them go by, him getting the layup off at 3 seconds when you had backside help, it could have altered a few things, but that right there is a freshman mistake. You can't foul in those situations. especially when you played so well and you have all the momentum.
1-1 here for Marcus Hill.
At the line to go, Marcus Hill.
Hill misses the second. Can they get a shot off? Don't think it would have counted anyway, but Curry's miss. This is Christian Coleman. He had a nice first half of the Coleman duo. It gives him 9 points. What do Aggie fans need to see in the second half here?
Well, it starts on the defensive side. I mean, you can't play the style that you want to play at if you can't get stops. So it starts defensively. You have to lock in, and not just that, get paint touches. I keep reiterating that, but they have to get to the paint to be able to kick out for easy shots or make plays for others. If they can get paint touches and hone in on their defense, I think they'll get back in this game. But Mark, with the way that they play, this chaotic, frantic style, and shoot so many threes, I don't think this team is ever out of a ball game.
Agee just picked up his second foul. Federico and Holloway each had 2 fouls in the first half for A&M. Crotty and Chukas had 2 fouls in the first half for Oklahoma State, and another Aggies foul.
And right there, the versatility of Coleman. The post up right there, good draw right there by Lutz to post up Coleman when he has the smaller guard on him. And because of the elevation that he has when he shoots the basketball, he can rise up over the top of you and put smaller guards in a predicament.
Coleman misses the first. Steve Lutz's team, big first half. Missed them both. Missed that one. Wide left. Isaac's trying to put together a better half.
And that right there, Mark, is what they have to do more of, especially Pop Isaacs. I think in the first half, he settled a lot. He settled for deep threes that honestly weren't needed. Right there, get to the lane. When you can get paint touches, you can create off the bounce and get all the way. You put pressure on the defense instead of bailing them out by taking a long three.
Pop 1 for 7 in the first half from the field. 1 of 5 3-point shooting. Goaltend now gives him 8 points on the afternoon. Fala gonna back down Federico. A little push, but a travel on Fala.
And that right there is good defense by Federico. He understood where his help was coming from, baited him to go the opposite way, and as a result, Fala picked up that foot and traveled and turned it over.
OSU only 1 turnover in the first half. They commit their first turnover in the second half about a minute and a half in, and now we get another stoppage. This is going to go on Victorious Miller. That's his second personal.
And that right there, those are 2 fouls that you just do not need. You were up by 15 and 18:24 to go. You have 2 fouls, 2 silly fouls, back-to-back on underneath out of bounds plays that will honestly help A&M down the line when it comes to now you have to play better without fouling.
Federico a miss. Ball into the corner, out. And they say it's Oklahoma State ball. And Pop Isaacs had a look at that where he thought it should stay with A&M. Isaac's going to stay with Miller. Griffin on Jalen Curry. Miller, bounce pass underneath, reverse lay-in for Christian Coleman. Marcus Hill ran it up quickly, but Coleman able to catch up. But drives down low, got right underneath the bucket and gets fouled by Christian Coleman, who's picked up 2 quick fouls here in this half.
Let's go back to this Miller pass right here. You get a good paint touch, the defense gets caught looking. Good cut right there by Christian Coleman. And a really good finish. Good pass by Victorious Miller, who's been extremely quiet today, Mark.
He has indeed. Marcus Hill drains the first. Look at Miller, 2 shots, hit 2 shots, 2 of 4 in the first half. So 4 total points, but really it was the Colemans who kind of took things over. Missed the second and foul boards. So the ball and a 16-point lead for Oklahoma State here early in this second half from Stillwater. Coleman, Christian Coleman, AG on him. Underneath, Fala, AG there again, Federico 2, ball rolls off the rim. Ball goes out of bounds, and it's right back to Oklahoma State.
You know, I'll tell you what, Christian Coleman is a young man that is going to play a lot for Steve Lutz because he does so much well. I mean, offensively, he can get creative, he can dribble it, he can take you off of the bounce. He's really a mismatch problem at 6'9", but his effort in the small things right there, getting that steal, getting that deflection to bounce the ball off of Hill's leg to get that turnover. Just the small things that he does for Lutz that I know he loves.
Curry knocks it down from about 18 feet. And the largest lead for Oklahoma State of 18, 3 minutes into the half. Another turnover. And a flush from Christian Coleman. Timeout, A&M. There's a chance that he could play Friday against UCF. That would be a huge addition for this team.
They need him so bad because he provides you an option, a consistent option, to be able to score the ball when you are in a drought like what we're seeing right now.
The lead has ballooned to 20. And Coleman, like a spider, arms everywhere. But he's going to pick up his 3rd foul, and all 3 fouls have come here inside the first 3.5 minutes of the second half.
And you love the aggression, Mark. However, you have to be able to have that same level of aggression while being disciplined. And we've seen Coleman on his 3 fouls be extremely undisciplined on at least 2 out of the 3. He has to be better than that and smarter than that because when the game is on the line, his team needs him.
Isaacs. Ryland Griffin. Aggies just trying to find a clean look somewhere underneath, but a travel first.
The problem right now, Mark, is that the main guys who Texas A&M relies on to score the ball, with being Pop Isaacs and Ryland Griffin, they struggle to be able to create off the bounce to get into the paint. However, when you bring Holloway in and when you bring Hill in, they struggle to shoot the ball. So right now, Bucky cannot find any answers. He needs to find a good balance of both because Isaacs and Ryland Griffin cannot get into the lane because they struggle to create off the bounce. But now, with the lineup you have in right now, they struggle to shoot the ball. So he has to find a balance of who can shoot, who can score, who can give me consistent buckets, and that's where Mbako comes in.
Hill collided with Jalen Curry, but the inbounds went a different direction. We get a hold on Hill. It's his 3rd. By the way, that turnover was the 10th of the game for A&M. I think one of the questions we had about Oklahoma State, they'd only played 1 game prior to this. That was against Oral Roberts. When we watched that game, defensively, they really weren't that good. today they've been fantastic.
And I think a part of that is Isaiah Coleman. Now, we talked about him a lot, but I think his energy and his versatility on that side of things has completely opened this ball game up, because you relied heavily on Crotty being able to play a lot of minutes, having to stop people, having to guard guards on the perimeter in that first game against ORU. But now that you have Coleman in the game and Crotty isn't playing as much defensively, you are that much better with Coleman on the floor.
Well, we've never really seen the Aggies offense find any kind of rhythm so far today, but certainly the game early turned when Isaiah Coleman was inserted in very early in the first half. And right on cue. Long pass. Hill trying to answer at the other end. Lost the handle. Loose ball. And taken away again by Oklahoma State. I didn't know if I would say this as Curry off the heel. Offensive board Jennings. Tried to dump it underneath, but it got deflected into the arms of Hill. Jump stop and to the rim, floating up and laying it in is Marcus Hill.
And that's what they do well. That's what these guards, Holloway and Hill, do extremely well. They attack the rim at a high level. When you're on defense in transition, you have to build a wall to alleviate them from getting to the cup.
Jalen Curry is going to get the foul for Oklahoma State. It has been very physical, and I think they maybe even kicked it up a notch or two here in the second half, King, because we're seeing the fouls come at a much higher frequency. Songs already. Where Garth Brooks went to school here in Stillwater. Hill. Oh! Swish that. Magnificent shot. Great body control. Maybe that can be the little spark to get the A&M offense going in the different direction.
This right here is just a great drive. Take the bump. Get into the air. If you know he's left-handed, scout and report. Send him to his right. But that right there is just too easy.
Gives Hill 11 points. He's the first Aggie in double-figure scoring today. And make it an even dozen for Hill. And now the Aggies needing some stops to try to get back in this game.
Now, Mark, this is interesting. You don't have Curry or Clary on the floor. You really don't have a true point guard on the floor. So right now with Victorious Miller and with Isaiah Coleman and Crotty, who is going to be able to handle this pressure? Will they be able to handle this pressure? We are about to find out. If you're A&M, this is when you need to really be aggressive on the defensive side.
Coleman. And they got it over with a couple seconds to spare. Miller getting downhill. The kiss and one.
This is a high-level finish right here. If you're not over on the ball screen hedge, Victorious Miller will go through your chest, absorb the contact, and be able to get an and one. High-level, strong finish right there by Victorious Miller.
Played his freshman year last year at LSU, averaged 9 points a game in 19 minutes. Where he just created his own shot there, I think that's what the Cowboys are hoping to see a lot of this year. Holloway going to the rim, but
referees are starting to tighten up.
Yes.
So as players, you have to be able to realize this. When you're on the floor and you see how the referees call the game in the first half versus the second half, you have to be able to adjust as a player. Now you know the referees are going to call everything. So now you have to learn how to be able to guard without your hands.
Yeah, that's 17 foul against OSU, so it puts the Aggies in the bonus here, just barely over 5 minutes into the half.
But this also goes back to those 2 fouls underneath out of bounds. Now, with 15 minutes to go, every single time A&M gets touched, they're going to the free throw line because of those 2 crazy fouls.
Well, Monday Night Football tomorrow night. Hurts and the Eagles, 6-2, coming off a bye, taking on Jordan Love and the 5-2-1 Packers at Lambeau Field. Yes, there was a tie at Dallas. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app. Peyton and Eli are on ESPN2. They'll have comedian Shane Gillis, Abbott Elementary's Keita Brunson as well.
You watch Abbott Elementary?
Yes, a little bit. I was going to say, do you watch Peyton and Eli simultaneously with?
Nah, I just typically watch the game. I've been a little upset with the NFL because my Cowboys aren't doing too great.
Oh, there's a lot of America that can sympathize and a lot of America that does not. Miller. Crotty. Fowler tried to tip that to Isaiah Coleman, but Aggies come out with it. Hill.
If you're A&M, you have to attack. Every single time you get touched, you're going to the free throw line.
Well, Holloway was going to attack there. Instead, kicks it out for a Griffin three. It bounces over the backboard and over to Oklahoma State.
And that should have been a layup right there. Yep. Holloway had the 2 points, but tried to get three, doesn't pay off. But every single time A&M touches the basketball for the rest of the game, they need to be looking to put their head down and get towards the rim. Because every single time they get touched, once again, Mark, they go to the free throw line.
Griffin and Hill trapping Miller. Got 3 seconds to get it across. 2. Got it over with just a second and a half. Fowler. Got it. Safala. What a story he is. A gentleman from Iran. His 3rd different team here in the United States. And a carry there by Miller is going to turn it back over to A&M.
And then he tries to look at the referee like he didn't do anything.
We all saw the carry. 6 turnovers now for OSU. 5 here in this half.
Everybody saw the carry, Victorious. You weren't getting away with that one.
You know, with the replay in different sports and everything, you know, players can't get away with that stuff anymore. I mean, everybody saw it. And if they didn't, we can go to the replay and see what really happened.
I just think it's funny how players never think they did it and they do anything wrong. And you know what? I used to be one of those guys.
I was going to say.
Yeah, I was definitely one of those guys.
Ruben Dominguez has been pretty quiet here in this one. Shot clock gets low again. Lob. He couldn't come up with it. And here comes OSU. Coleman looked like he wanted to shoot a quick 3 there, but elects not to. Miller. Floater. Again, creating his own shot.
We're seeing the skill right now put on display by Miller.
Fowler takes it away as Holloway got stuck on the baseline. 25 points off Aggie turnovers. And here's Fowler getting in the act. His first 3 as a Cowboy. He only attempted 1 3 a year ago. On a home here in Stillwater recently, he has found himself a new life. And apparently he's found a 3-point shot.
To go from $400 to NIL here.
Yeah.
If that turned your life upside down.
If that corrupt custom agent in Senegal only knew what NIL money was, he would have hit him up for all 400.
Congrats to my man.
Miller just picked up his 4th foul, so he's wondering how 4 fouls quickly got charted, but we have seen some signs of his offensive game here in the second half.
We talked about him in the open. He's extremely talented. But we asked the question, who was going to be able to handle that pressure? And Victorious Miller definitely answered it and showed us that he can do it when Curry or Clary are not on the floor.
Look at Steve Lutz. He's all smiles right now with his team up. Wow, lane violation, no basket. And that right there just sums up this entire afternoon in Stillwater for Texas A&M.
Nothing going right. And unfortunately, I've been on this side of things. And ball has to hit the rim before you enter in. Those are the things you have to know, and especially the way the referees are calling. A lot of referees might let that go, but they're tightening it up in the second half, so you have to know you can't get away with those things.
This is a really high-quality crew, led by Kip Kissinger, who's been a Final Four official a couple of times. Crowd entices the freshman to take the three. Crowdy missed it. Fala had the rebound for a moment, had it stripped, and now Coleman goes up, almost came wedged in the heel and rolls off to A&M. Here's Hill. Well, Marcus Hill has been very aggressive here in this second half, trying to get the ball to the rim.
He does a good job of just living.
Million. And it's been a steep learning curve here today.
And you learn a lot about your team, and no doubt this last 12 minutes of the game, I think Coach McMillan will learn even more. He'll see what type of fight that his team has, or he'll see if it goes from 25 to 30 plus.
Hill hits the front end of the 1-and-1. We mentioned a little bit ago they hope to have McKenzie and Bacco suited up and playing Friday as they play another Big 12 team. They get UCF at Texas A&M on Friday. Bacco was a McDonald's All-American in high school, a 5-star recruit, played his first 2 years at IU. Definitely will be important to get him suited up as quickly as possible. Federico comes in after the free throws.
Federico. Into the lineup for the Aggies.
And a travel. Called it Isaiah Coleman. They have definitely called it tight here in the second half.
Now let's see if A&M can capitalize off of the turnovers. That's one thing that Oklahoma State did such a good job in the first half, was capitalizing off of A&M's turnovers. Let's see if A&M can now do the same thing, because they need to in order to get back in this ball game.
Clements dumps it underneath. Agee just kind of flipped it over his shoulder. Tried to tap it in, a second opportunity.
And Agee has to deliver that pass to the corner. You had two on you down low. You got to deliver that to the corner.
Agee and Vukovic got tangled up, and Vukovic wound up on his back. Foul number 3. Rashawn Agee. Did we have an accounting error here at the table? They quickly stopped the play.
Well, the referees thought that they were in the bonus, but the table said that that was the 6th foul. So there's some confusion on the floor right now.
We've got 7 on the bug.
Well, they had 6 on the bug when the foul occurred.
So that's Marcus Pettigrew at the scorer's table.
It is the 7th team.
All right, so it will be a 1-on-1 here for Andrija Vukovic. Big man, 6'11", 270-pounder on his sophomore year. Won't turn 21 until January. And he swishes the first. Vukovic from Serbia. It'll be interesting to see how his game develops this year after not seeing a lot of playing time last year. One of 2. And Clements beats everybody down the floor. Still a little over 11 minutes to go, but a 22-point lead. Oklahoma State seemingly start to slow things down a little bit, play the clock here.
And because the clock is your friend, and that's one of the hardest things to do as a player, is to transition your mind and to use the clock while you're on the floor, especially in moments like this when you're up so big.
Isaacs jump stop in the lane, but he's surrounded by Cowboys. No space there for Clements. Plenty of space to get that shot off for Hill, but a one and done. Curry, floater, kisses that in. He's a lefty. That was his strong hand there.
That's just good pace right there, Mark. Wait till the head drops, and as soon as you see the big man move, go attack. Good pace right there by Curry.
AG, back down, Vukovic, kick out, three. There it is. Ruben Dominguez. They expect to see a whole lot of that from him this year for Texas A&M. Christian Coleman reverses and scores.
You know, one thing when we talked to Coach McMillan, he said his team struggles with one-on-one defense. And I think tonight it's really been exposed. They do a good job of creating chaos and trying to turn you over. But when you have to play in the half court, they really do struggle guarding one-on-one. Oh! Another example right there.
Majewski with the lay-in. Strong move by Leftarius, who's playing his first game for the Cowboys after missing the ORU game for personal reasons.
And take a look right here. Bad closeout. One-on-one, just a straight line drive. That's way too easy. You have to do more than that and make it tougher on the offensive ball handler. But to allow a straight line drive, that's what Coach McMillan talked to us about in the shoot-around. We struggle guarding one-on-one. They do a good job trying to speed you up, turn you over, but when you handle the press, get them to the half-court set, staying in front of the man on the defensive side is not a strong suit for A&M.
Ryland Griffin. Isaac, steep three. Pop now 1 of 5. 1 of 6 now three-point shooting for the afternoon. 9 minutes to play. Another floater up there. Come on, Jukas. Pop. And an offensive foul as Isaiah Coleman was surrounded by 2 defenders, and he's like, hey, what else can I do to get away there?
And Pop Isaacs has really struggled. When you look at him and Ryland Griffin, both of these guys have struggled. But let's take a look at this offensive foul.
Oh.
The slap on the arm right there.
A slap on the forearm's a foul. You're not going to get away with that.
I don't know if I've ever seen
I
somebody
don't either.
actually
That's
slap
crazy.
an arm and get called for it. That's a first. I've seen guys do it, but never been actually called for it. That's how you know the referees are tightening up.
Griffin, step back three. Got it. Swish for Ryland Griffin.
And they're going to need him to do more of that. If him and Pop Isaacs do not have good games, they're going to struggle to generate points offensively if they're not turning people over.
Well, for Ryland Griffin at Kansas last year in Bill Self's offensive system, a lot of times playing through the post, that just was not conducive season long for his playing style.
McMillan brought him there. They've shown flashes. They've shown moments in their careers where they're good enough to be able to lead teams when it comes to offense on the offensive side. So they have to be more consistent and more efficient if they want to have success, especially when you have other players on your team that don't score it or don't shoot it as well as those two young men do.
A little over 8 minutes left in this game, and Texas A&M is shooting 33% from the field, 16 of 49. coming up here on the just past the top of the hour. Those of you waiting for volleyball, you got Utah and 23rd ranked Baylor coming up. Alex Loeb, Shelly Coppage. That has begun on ESPN News, and we'll jump over here to ESPN2 as soon as we are finished. The volleyball coming up next from Waco. Open three is up. And the struggle continues again for Isaacs, and Holloway is able to get back and prevent the layup in transition for Coleman. Roddy. Defensive glass again. Coleman, and missed that time from Curry, but there'll be a third opportunity as Fala trying to go up with it. Is fouled by Federico.
And that right there is the level of effort in which, if you're Steve Lutz, you want to see, but if you're Coach McMillan, and you're already down big, and to allow 2 offensive rebounds, I mean, that's the effort right there that you can't have if you're Coach McMillan.
In for the visitors.
AG's going to come in for Federico. There's a Dominguez three, and that's his second of the game.
Man, you can't leave that young man open. With the way he can knock it down from deep, that's the last person on the floor you want to leave wide open.
He missed his first 3 three-point attempts. Has hit the next 2. But Fala at the other end with an easy lay-in for the Cowboys. Marcus Hill trying to weave his way. Dominguez that time elected not to shoot the 3. Griffin lost the dribble thanks to quick hands from Jalen Curry.
Hey, Oklahoma State doing a really good job of just clogging the paint. There's always a second defender, a second layer of help whenever one of the A&M guards try to drive.
Christian Coleman and Isaiah Coleman have been the 2 top scorers today for Oklahoma State. Both on the floor here. This is Isaiah right as the shot clock was expiring. Come up on the 6-minute mark. Dominguez. Holloway bumps into Fala. Dominguez creates a little bit of space. Missed that one though.
That's a great closeout right there by Coleman. Doesn't allow anything clean. Tries to pump fake sidestep, but Coleman's still right there with a good contest.
Yeah, Isaiah Coleman's put up the offensive numbers, 13 points, 8 rebounds, but his defense has been a story too.
Honestly, his defense might be more impressive than his offense.
Put in by Curry.
Mark, I think Curry is so good. I think Curry is going to wake a lot of people up in the Big 12 because he's a guard, a transfer guard that honestly got no love. I haven't heard anything about him from anybody. And I think Curry, with the way that he's played in these first 3 games, he's been extremely impressive. He controls everything. His pace, his scoring the ball, his leadership, his facilitating. I mean, he does the right things, and I know Steve Lutz loves this young man.
Victorious Miller bringing it into the front court this time. Roddy. Shot clock's down to 4. Pull up Miller. A little strong. And a rebound for Ali Diba. Holloway, deep 3. 5 bodies came to ahead there, and it eventually winds up with Miller out of bounds. Four and a half minutes to go. Again, Texas A&M's only lead today has been when they scored the game's first basket. Comes Hill on the drive. Oh, from behind. Mandzukic tied it up. And the possession arrow will come into play. It will stay with A&M.
And that's a perfect example of what I mean by when Hill and Holloway come in the game, they don't shoot the ball well. Off this skip pass, that's one where Hill should have taken that 3, but he's not a confident shooter, so he tries to get to the paint and drive when it's already congested in the paint. And now he gets a tie-up. But if you have a shooter right there when you come off the ball screen and you hit the skip pass, you're supposed to knock that down, Mark, but Hill and Holloway just aren't confident shooters from beyond the arc to do that.
The way Mandzukic reacted, I don't think he realized that he may thought he got whistled for the foul and not the tie-up, but nonetheless, clock stops at 4:19 to go. Well, today is the last day of College Sports Communicators Membership Appreciation Week. These valued communicators and creatives coordinate public and media relations, websites, social media, and so much more for the different teams. We've got 2 of the best SIDs here, 1 for each team. There's Brian Holmgren, who's been an SID for over 15 years, the Oklahoma State SID. Let's not forget for Texas A&M, Rachel Peralt. There's Rachel. She's been an SID for over 15 years as well. So it's the last day of College Sports Communicators Membership Appreciation Week. Needed to get that in and thank them for all the hard work they do. And Mandzukic dumps it underneath. Jennings couldn't finish it out. From Zach Clements. Spin move. Kick. Clements 3. Here comes Victorious Miller. He had the rim in his sights and gets bumped and fouled by Ali Diba. .352 to play. It's a 20 team under head coach Eddie Sutton. And Keller was supposed to be on the plane that went down until Coach Sutton made a late change and moved him to the other plane. He survived. 10 others did not.
Wow.
In that horrific day in January 2001 for the Oklahoma State program. And it was a message that I was a fly on the wall for yesterday, and it was very impactful, very emotional for him and the Texas A&M team to hear that.
You know, I've been knowing Coach Keller since I was 16, 17 years old when he recruited me when he was at A&M his first time. And I never knew that story, but what a remarkable man.
Indeed.
What a remarkable man to be able to have that testimony and to be able to share it and be able to help others, because you told me the story that he was able to help somebody else with their survivor's guilt.
He was indeed, and he said, yes, survivor's guilt's a very real thing and it needs to be dealt with. And it was very impactful for the young men at Texas A&M that heard that. You could have heard a pin drop there in that area of the arena. Miller's 3 from the corner. 3 minutes to go. What is Texas A&M going to take away from what looks to be a very one-sided loss here in Stillwater today?
I think the biggest thing is having to find answers on the offensive side. I mean, when we look at this also on the flip side, though, when we look at this Big 12 preseason coaches poll, Oklahoma State at number 12, no way in the world they're finishing 12th, especially when you add Anthony Roy into this mix. I mean, Anthony Roy averaged 26 points per game, led the nation in scoring last year, shooting 40% from the three-point line and 50 from the field. I mean, with that level of efficiency in scoring, we saw what he did against Auburn. With that level of efficiency added amongst Coleman, Miller, Curry, I mean, this Oklahoma State team, to me right now, the way that they are looking is looking like a top of the league type of team. Top 6, top 8 type of finish.
Yeah, obviously very early. We're still inside the first week of the season, early games. But in this small sample size for Oklahoma State, very impressive performance here today. After really didn't have a good first half against Oral Roberts here in their first game earlier in the week. Played better in the second half, one going away.
I mean, what's interesting is, I mean, we talk about these exhibition games. I mean, they had a good performance against Auburn, so I don't think this is a fluke. I think this is who this Oklahoma State team is and who they can be.
Jukas lays it in and one.
Now, for Texas A&M, there are a lot of questions that you have to answer. What happens with this is a good drive right here by Mandzukic, but what happens when you deal with the team or you play against a team that can handle your pressure? And now they force you to play in the half court. Can you guard the ball one-on-one? We reiterated this earlier with Bucky that we talked about. They do not guard well in space. They rely too much on their help side defense, and if it is not there, it's wide open layup after wide open layup, and they struggle in that area. So that's something that they have to address. One-on-one defense in the half court, but also offensively, I think that's a major problem as well. What do you do when Pop Isaacs isn't going and you're not able to really push the tempo like you want? If you have to play in the half court, who is your answer? And I think a part of that is when Mbapo comes back. But who is your guy moving forward without Mbapo? Because he can't be your only option.
So Dominguez knocked another one down from long range. Missed his first 3 threes. Has hit 3 of his next 4 since. For 9 points. Off the glass. And the kiss from Victorious Miller.
He is so skilled. So skilled.
Dominguez can't find it that time.
No, it's interesting, Mark. Jakari Lane started this game, and we haven't seen much of him, and he's out there now, but we haven't seen much of him today.
Yeah, Jakari's limited time, and the freshman Crotty knocks down another 3. His second of the game. On the run again, Miller got some contact, and Jakari Lane commits the foul. Well, you mentioned the exhibition game against Auburn they played in Birmingham. Oklahoma State won 97-95. Anthony Roy did play in that game. He hasn't played yet because of the groin injury. He had 28 points in that game, hit 5 threes, a dozen rebounds. That's what they're missing still, that they will bring back eventually.
Anthony Roy might be the best scorer in the Big 12 when he comes back. And I know we have some good guys like P.J. Haggerty, J.T. Toppin. You have some guys that can get buckets, Mark. But I would put Anthony Roy up there with the P.J. Haggertys, with J.T. Toppin. The only difference is Anthony Roy played at Green Bay, and J.T. Toppin played at Texas Tech. Haggerty played at Memphis last year, so we saw them on a bigger stage. Anthony Roy, when he gets back on the floor, can score with the best of them.
Crowd was reacting to Mekhi Ragland and Kurt Cole getting into the game, so everybody's gotten in now for Oklahoma State, with the exception of the injured players, Anthony Roy and Benjamin Ahmed. Coming up on the final minute. Made in by Deba. Let me go back to it for Texas A&M. What do they need to do before they take the floor against UCF on Friday night?
1 minute to play.
Oh, well, you really want to address the one-on-one defense, but that's not something that you can just fix in a span of
5 days?
3, 4, 5 days. You can't fix that. That's something that happens over time. But offensively, if I'm the coaching staff, I'm trying to find ways to execute better in the half court offensively. Find ways to get Rylan Griffin going or Pop Isaacs going that isn't necessarily relying on just shooting a three. Because I think the more versatile you are offensively, the harder you are to guard. But if your three-point shot isn't falling, what do you do? So I think that's the immediate fix, is finding ways in which you can get some of your best guys going.
Rebound, Ragland almost had it, Mekhi Ragland. This crowd's really wanting to walk on Kirk Cole, or the true freshman Ragland, to score here. But Vincent, who's back in the game, for a brief appearance in the first half for Texas A&M, and that's going to be it. And Cole will run it out, and Oklahoma State impressively led basically the entire game outside the first minute or two, and they win it 87-63.